Well, hi everyone, it's Alex, and welcome back to Alex Electronics, and also welcome back to the Pinball Repair Series. So this is part 4? Yeah, part 4, I believe, of repairing this 1977 Gottlieb Bronco pinball machine. And if you recall, in our last video, we focused pretty much entirely on the back box back there. We started by cleaning up the player unit, which is this thing right here. Cleaning that up to get it all lubricated and working properly. And then we went through all the score reels and cleaned all of them up to get them rotating properly because quite a few of them were stuck. So we did that. And then finally, we got scoring working properly because 100-point scoring was working okay, but 10-point scoring and 1,000-point scoring were not. And it turns out the problem there was just that the 10-point and 1,000-point relays had some corrosion on their contacts. And so a good sanding and realignment of those contacts fixed that right up too. So we did all that in the back box. And if you look at the back box, you might notice that there's another big change that has been made since the last video. You might see that Bronco is now flashing. That's because I put some flasher bulbs in there behind Bronco just for fun, because I think it makes it look cool. And you also can't see it because there's a game in progress, but I put flashers behind game over as well. And so yeah, and I went through the back box as well and just did a lot of maintenance on the bulbs because a lot of them were either just out or the sockets were messed up to the point that the bulbs weren't working properly. And so I went through and refurbished all of those. It was pretty much, there were only a couple bulbs that were out, to be honest. It was mostly sockets. So I went through and refurbished those sockets, and I'll actually show that when we get to the Playfield here in a second. But that's basically everything that I've been doing here. And in this part, we are going to be doing a couple main things. So first off, we just need to do something with the bonus unit that I've been meaning to do for a little while now, which I will show here in a second. And then once we do that, we can move on to all the cosmetic sides of things. So that's going to mean stripping everything off the playfield, cleaning up all these dirty plastics, cleaning this, cleaning all of that, you know, making everything look nice. And then cleaning the actual playfield surface itself, waxing it to make it nice and shiny, and then replacing certain components on the playfield to make things work a little bit better. And then at the same time, we will also be replacing any lights under the playfield that aren't working. And in some cases, it may also be just the socket that isn't working. It's just a faulty socket, which was the case in the back box a lot. And whenever that ends up being the case, I will show the method that I use to fix the sockets back there. So yeah, that's the general plan. And in terms of actually refurbishing the playfield and replacing parts on it, I have quite an assortment of parts over here that we are going to be replacing on the playfield. So I guess let's go through those real quick and just look at what we're going to be doing there. It's just a little teaser for what's ahead. So first off, I've been complaining, if you've watched a couple parts of the series, you might recall, I've been complaining about these stupid things for a while now, and how the little inserts are like really, really chewed up, and so when you push them down, a lot of times they get stuck down, which obviously isn't what you want. So I've ordered some replacement inserts. These are nice and fresh and new, and they won't have that problem anymore, so we'll be replacing those. And I didn't know this, but it also came with the replacement leaf switches that go underneath them as well. So if they don't end up being springy enough, then we can replace the switches as well. So that'll be nice. Then I also ordered some stuff to refurbish the plunger here. These springs, that one and this one, they feel a little bit limp. So I ordered a new spring for each of them. I've got to say, these do feel a whole lot stronger. So that'll be pretty nice. Then I also have ordered, you might look at these pop bumpers and notice that some of the paint is a little bit funny. And especially these guys up here. Ugh, that looks pretty bad. And the star there to a certain extent too. And I'm not good enough of an artist to try and repaint those and make them look good. So I have just ordered some new pop bumper shells to replace the shells. And then I've also ordered new pop bumper lids to replace the lids. So that'll be another thing to replace. Then these drop targets, they also look a little funny. And if you recall from previous parts where we tested things, let me see if I can show it now since we're in the middle of a game. If I push one of these down, that one did okay. This one, yeah, this one didn't go down all the way, so it's just stuck, and the machine's going to be scoring forever until I push it down the rest of the way. So those are a little bit messed up. See, I got 2,700 points off that one drop target, which I was only supposed to get 300 off of it. So yeah, that's clearly not right. So I've ordered some new drop targets that hopefully will fix that problem, along with maybe some alcohol on some of the parts down there to free things up. And then finally, we have a new set of rubber rings for the entire machine to make everything nice and bouncy again. And yeah, this includes the red ones for the flippers, the little black ring here that goes up here, the rings for all the miscellaneous pieces that need rings, like here that doesn't have one at all, here where they're like really dry rotted, and the tip of the plunger as well, which is not even there anymore, but that's what that one is right there. So we'll be replacing all those, and once all that has been replaced, boy, I think this thing's really gonna fly. It's gonna be pretty exciting how fast the ball moves around on this table. I'm looking forward to that. But before we do that, I wanna work on the bonus unit, as I said, because we've got some issues with it that I discovered last time. And let's look at those issues. So I'm gonna lose the ball so the bonus unit resets and we can look at this. Okay, so you notice the bonus unit is displaying nothing, as we would expect at the beginning of a ball, right? Well, that's all good, because we shouldn't have any sort of bonus at the beginning of a ball. But let's say the ball rolls over C here. This should give us 300 points and add to the bonus. What does it do? It gives us 300 points, but it does not add to the bonus. Now, let's lose the ball. It gave us the bonus anyway. It gave us the 1,000 bonus anyway, despite it not showing up on the lights. Now let's try something else. Let's do the same thing again. Let's do that 300 and add bonus. Doesn't do anything. Let's do it one more time. This time, the 1,000 bonus light lights up. So clearly, it seems like the bonus ladder is like one behind where it should actually be. And now if we lose the ball again, it should give us 2,000 this time instead of 1,000. There it is. So yeah, basically the bonus ladder is just always one behind where it should actually be. And I believe that's why when we first fixed the bonus unit, that is why it capped out at 14,000 instead of 15,000. 15 seems like a nice, more round number than 14. So I think that's probably what that was about. Everything was just one behind where it actually should have been. So I'm guessing the issue here is simply that the rotary part on that bonus unit disc is just misaligned, because remember, I forgot how it was aligned when I took it off. So I just guessed when I put it back on. And I guess I just guessed wrong and just had it off by one position. So I'm hoping I'm correct about that. It's got to be something pretty simple though. So let's pop the playfield up and take a look at the bonus unit and maybe shift that disc over by one position and see if that fixes things right up. Okay, so I've got the playfield popped up here at a nice angle where we can work on things really easily. One thing to note, if you're working on these machines ever, just be warned, this solenoid here and this solenoid here, these are actually powered by 120 volts AC, not 24 volts. So be very careful when you're working near them, because you'll get zapped by line voltage if you touch their contacts when they're energized. So just be very careful around those two. Everything else, pretty much, I believe, is 24 volts. But those two, don't touch those. Don't touch those. But with that warning out of the way, here is the bonus unit hanging down here. I just removed it. And that's the current location of the disc. We have a pretty good amount of slop in the little holes there. So we should be able to just loosen those screws and rotate it, or not counterclockwise, clockwise a little bit, and see if we can get a better position. You know what I might do? Just so we can get the position dialed in perfectly, I'm gonna start the game and then give us a bonus of 2,000, and then that should display 1,000, and then I'll loosen the screws and then turn it so that it gives us a bonus of 2,000. And that way we will know that we've adjusted it correctly. Well, actually, I've already started the game, so let's just go ahead and give ourselves that bonus. So this should give us a bonus of 1,000, but it doesn't put anything up there. 2,000, but it lights up 1,000. So now we just need to undo these screws and then rotate the wheel so that it instead lights up the 2,000 light instead of the 1,000 light, and then tighten things back down. So I can't really do that on camera, so I'm gonna do that off camera and then come back once I've done it. Okay, so you probably can't tell a difference just looking at it, but I undid the screws, rotated it clockwise just by one position so that instead of being on like that nub, for instance, the wiper would now be on that nub instead. So just one position, and then tighten it back down, and sure enough, now the 2,000 light is lit instead of the 1,000 light. And if I simulate losing the ball, this should give us our 2,000 point bonus, and then go to the next ball. Yep. There we go. Okay, so now let's just test it again. I'm gonna go for 1,000 points of bonus by pressing this switch, and it should light up the 1,000 light. There we go. And then if we lose the ball, we should get 1,000 points of bonus. Let's listen for the bell. There it is. Excellent. So that seems to have fixed our bonus unit problems. It was just a matter of me being dumb and having the disc maladjusted. So now that it has been adjusted properly, we should be good to go. And we can move on to working on the playfield itself. So I'm not sure if I want to do the lights first or if I want to do the actual like cosmetic stuff on the top first, because you can see we got a whole lot of lamps under here and a lot of them are not working. Like this guy, for instance, not working at all. This one looks like a burned out bulb, not a bad socket. But a good number of these lamps are out. This one's out, for instance. That one's out. We got a lot of dead lamps. So yeah, I'm not sure if I want to do the lamps first or if I want to do the cosmetic stuff on the top first. But when I come back, I guess I'll know the answer, because yeah, in the next video, we will be doing whichever one I decide to do next. Okay, so I've decided I think I'm going to do the lights first before we do the actual like cosmetics on the top of the playfield itself. And I figured let's start with this one here because it's a pretty decent example of what I want to show. So you can see this one's pretty dang bright, but this one's like really dim for some reason. This one is, you can see on the top, this is the A light, but this one's the B light, and it's really, really dim. And that's just because the socket isn't making a good connection. If I wiggle the socket, you can see it starts to get really bright. And the fix for this is you notice if I move the socket, you can see that the socket can actually, it's a little hard to see actually, but the socket can like rotate inside of this little metal clamp here. And so it's not making a good connection. It's not making a good ground connection because this ring here isn't making a good contact with this. So the solution is simply to put a blob of solder right here on the corner so that this is soldered to this. And then you have a good permanent connection. It doesn't spin anymore. And then the light works nice and reliably. And another thing you can do, there's another one of these intermittent connections right, God, if the camera will focus. Well, it's focusing on this one down here. There's another one of those intermittent connections right here. This little thing rotates. That one seems to be a problem less frequently, but it may be a problem as well. And if it is, then we can put a blob of solder there too and fix that. But these things are pretty rusty and do not accept solder as is. So you have to do a little bit of sanding and or filing on the corners of the socket before you can actually apply solder to them. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sand or file, not sure which, this little corner of the socket right here, then apply a blob of solder there, and then come back and we'll see if that light is all fixed up or not. And I'm gonna do that even to the sockets that are working fine. Like this one seems to be working fine. But, well, you notice I just banged it and it changes a little bit. That's not good for long-term reliability, so I'm actually gonna just go through and do this to every single socket. But I'll report back after we do this first one so you can see what it ends up doing. All right, I'm back, and I have actually done the solder process to both of these sockets, not just that one. And so you can see what I did. It's not pretty because it is pretty dang hard to solder these things, so it doesn't really look particularly pretty. But you can see I put a little blob of solder here, and I put another little blob of solder here. And it is kind of difficult to tell, given how ugly the solder joints are gonna look, it is kind of difficult to tell if your solder joint is good or if it's just a blob of solder that's sitting on top of there but not actually making a good connection. The way to tell though is do your soldering and then grab the socket and try and turn it. And if it still turns or like breaks free, then it's not a good joint. But if it doesn't turn anymore, then you got a good joint. And as you can see, this one doesn't turn and neither does this one. So those are both good joints. And as you can see, I can now bang the sockets and the lights stay lit nice and strong. And they look pretty dang great from the top of the Playfield. So that, we can consider that a fix at this point. I'm not sure why this one's still like dimmer from the top point of view than the other one. I'm guessing it's just the lens is a little funny. I don't know. But yeah, B still looks a little bit dimmer than A maybe, but clearly from the bottom they look pretty much exactly the same. So I don't think that's anything to work. Whoa. Oh, huh. I was wondering why that solenoid just went off. It's because I just accidentally bumped into the flipper button. That is why the solenoid went off. Okay, anyway, so I've done these two. Now it's the fun process of going through and doing that for every single other bulb on the Playfield, and boy, are there a lot of them. So, guess it's time to just get in and do that, and yeah, quite a few of them still aren't gonna work even after I do that, because there's some bulbs where I can just tell the bulb is just flat out burned. Like, you can see this bulb is burned out. So, some bulbs are obviously still gonna need replacing, but I bet there's still a decent number that we can bring back to life simply by wiggling the socket and putting a blob of solder on it. But I'll get to that, do them all. I'll probably unplug power for the ones near these big solenoids since they've got 120 volts going through them, but the rest we can do with power plugged in. But yeah, I'll get to that and come back once I have all of those done. Okay, I've been continuing the light replacement journey, and so far I've made it up to right here. So yeah, our current level is right here where these three little rollovers are. Everything below that has been replaced, or not replaced. All the sockets below that have been resoldered. All the sockets above that have not. And as I've been going through, I've been replacing any bad bulbs that are under the Playfield. So like all the bulbs that light up the little dot, the little spots on the Playfield, those are being replaced as I go because they're all underneath the Playfield. But any of the like general illumination bulbs that you can replace from the top, like that bulb for instance, those I'm not replacing. I'm just resoldering those sockets, and then I'll replace those bulbs later on once we're actually on the top of the Playfield. But since I am at the level of these three little rollovers right now, I figure now is probably a good time to replace the little star inserts that go inside the rollovers, since, as we've known for a while now, they are in pretty bad shape. So I think we might go ahead and do that, because yeah, if you look on the top, look how chewed up these stars are. When you push down on them, they get stuck down a lot, and it does not look good. And also they get stuck, and so you score forever. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and replace those with our spares that we have, which are these guys right here. And it looks like it's gonna be pretty simple. You just take out these two screws here to pop the leaf switch off, and then the little insert should just fall out the bottom, and then I can just slide the new one in and put the switch back in place. So it really shouldn't be very hard at all. The only thing I'm trying to decide about is whether I'm gonna replace the switches too, because it came with a set of new switches as well, but these old switches seem to be working fine. So honestly, I might just leave the old switches in there, sand the contacts just to make sure they're making good connection, and then just leave the old ones in there and keep those new replacement switches around in case another switch somewhere fails and I gotta replace it. But yeah, let's do that. Okay, so as you can see, I've actually removed the insert now, and I've actually installed two of the new inserts over there. And the insert removal process was actually kind of the opposite of what I thought it was. I thought you slid it out the back, but instead you push it out the front. But I couldn't really do that because when you push the insert in, it has this little indentation on the back that gets gripped by this. You can kind of see that there. it slides through there, and then that grabs it and keeps it from sliding back out the front. And to remove the old ones, I was scared to like try and bend this open to push it out the front because I was afraid it would crack this. So I decided to just snip that big part off on all the old ones since we don't need them anymore. So that's what I did here. You can see that end part is just snipped off. And oh my God, these things are horrendous looking. Look how ugly they are. They look so bad. But I'll install the third and final one on camera so you can see how it goes. This is the insert. You can see the little tip on the end that gets grabbed by that thing. And all you do is you come around here, you line it up, make sure the little star petals are aligned with the holes, and then you just push, and there it is. It's installed. And then the switches that go on here, those are what provide the springiness that push them out. But man, that looks so much better. That looks so much better. They're actually clean and not chewed up now, and they slide so smoothly instead of getting stuck all the time. That's amazing. But yeah, now I'm gonna reinstall all the lamp sockets and the switches and stuff, and I'll continue with doing the rest of the bulbs on the playfield. And I don't think there's anything else super noteworthy to mention during this process, so I'll probably just come back once I have finished all of the lamps. Okay, so as you can see, I have replaced, or maybe you can't see, I don't know, but I have replaced all of the lights here and gotten all those sockets up and running, or I guess saying replace all the lights isn't the correct terminology, but I have gone through and made sure that all the lights are working properly. I've replaced the bulbs that were out, and I have done the little solder trick to all of the sockets in order to get them back in good shape again. And I also, for all of these little lens inserts here that the lights are behind, I cleaned the underside of them all because they were all pretty dirty from just soot buildup. So I cleaned all of those too, including all the ones for the bonus. They're still dirty on the top, but at least the bottoms are clean. So things look pretty dang good now. All the lights work. And I guess before we actually get into the cleaning and waxing of the playfield itself, let's just play a little game real quick to test all the lights and make sure everything's working properly, and then we will move into the waxing of the playfield itself. So here we go. All right, here we go. Well darn. All right, ball two. And just FYI, if I'm playing really poorly, it's because I only have one hand here. The other one's holding the camera, so I'm having to jump back and forth between the flippers. So if I'm letting some balls go when I really shouldn't, that is why. Darn. I don't think I could have saved that one, to be honest. Even if I did have both hands. Ah, there we go. Okay. The floor's not level, so it will get stuck over here forever, so I'm gonna have to do that. Again? Jeez. Get out of there. It'll just get stuck. Ah, okay. I lost that one because of my having to switch hands. We got a pretty decent score, though, all things considered. All right. Ball four. This is another situation where I have to help it out. The drop targets don't drop all the way, so I have to manually push them down and then give myself the ball back. And now we got to order the bonus. That light wasn't working before, so that's one of the ones that got fixed. One of these wasn't working either. Got a pretty solid bonus there. 40,000 is our score, and it's ball number 5. So the bonus multiplier is going to go to 2. Oh, there it went. Bonus multiplier went to 2x for this ball. So whatever we get on the bonus, we actually get twice that. Or 4 times if we complete all the rollovers. But something tells me we won't be completing the rollovers given that I'm playing with one hand. Well, maybe we will. If I can get A, like on the way out possibly, then we still have a chance. Oh, there it is. 4 times bonus. So we just got 16,000 instead of 4,000 there. That's pretty good. So our score is 62,560. And the match unit was on 80. Our last digits were 60, so we didn't win a free game. We didn't get a score high enough for a free game because you got to get like 88,000, I think. And so, yeah, we did not get a free game. And we didn't light special to get a free game. But, yeah, this kind of just shows you all the lights are working. I guess I can also demo the extra ball lights. I'll do that manually, though. Because these extra ball lights were dead before, which was really confusing. But, yeah, if we drop all the drop targets, now an extra ball light lights up. Oh, by the way, I also discovered you can swap between these two by hitting the center pop bumper. But yeah, extra ball light lights up. So if we do this rollover, it'll give us the extra ball. And then I believe we can switch it to the other one by getting anything that gives us the bonus. So like this, for instance, should switch it to the other light. No, maybe we have to do it twice. Yeah, okay. And if you do it too many times, you just lose out on it forever, and it's just too bad. But yeah, there it is. And then if we roll over this, we get the extra ball. So same player shoots again when lit lights up, and that's pretty cool. And then in terms of the special right here, we can do that by dropping all of these and completing ABC. Now special lights up, and whenever we do anything on the playfield, special turns off. And then it comes back on, so it's like a cool little blinky effect. But then whenever we run over special, it'll give us a free game, and you can probably hear the knocker. Yeah, you hear the knocker? And free game. And you can hit it as many times as you want, which seems kind of crazy. But yeah, figured I would just demo all that, show you all the lights are working really well now. I still haven't replaced all the general illumination bulbs, so we've got like these 2 down here still need to be replaced. All the general illumination, I'll do that when we're cleaning the top of the playfield. But yeah, now that we've fixed all the actual like status lights underneath, let's get to actually cleaning the top of this thing. Okay, so the playfield refurbishment process, I'm gonna do it in a couple main steps. So first, I'm just gonna like get everything off of the playfield so that we just have the bare wood itself. So we'll be taking like this little apron at the bottom off. We'll be taking these plastic features off, maybe these little posts here, push all the drop targets down, remove these things, probably remove the pop bumpers too since we'll be replacing them, remove these, remove that. We'll actually remove this entire metal arch thing at the top. Basically remove everything that we really can to just give us the bare wood to work with. And then once we have all the annoying stuff out of the way, and we might remove these little metal things. Are they riveted? They're riveted on. Never mind. We won't remove the little metal things here. But we'll remove everything we can. And then once we have all those little annoying bits out of the way, then we should have much better access to the actual playfield wood. So then we can start getting all of the dirt and debris off of it. First, we'll tackle just like the surface level stuff. You can see like if we look up here next to the little arch thing, you can see there's just some particulate matter just sitting there. So we'll tackle that first by getting the vacuum and just sucking it all off. And we'll do that across the entire playfield just to get everything we possibly can off of there just that way. And then I'll get a cloth and just wipe everything down dry, just to get any debris that can be gotten off with a little bit of wiping persuasion off. And I doubt that will give us a whole lot, but it'll give us something at least. And then to get the real dirt, like if you look close, you can see like all this black stuff there. Like there's some serious dirt on the playfield in a lot of places. To get that off, I bought this stuff. I was doing some research. I bought this stuff called naphtha, Naphtha. I think that's how you pronounce it, naphtha. And it's supposed to be really good. From all my research, it's supposed to be pretty good at like cleaning gunk like that off of these old wooden playfields without damaging the paint very much. And that's exactly what I want here. So then once we do the wiping, we'll go back with naphtha and wipe it down with some of that and see if we can get some of that like deeper seated gunk off. And then once we've done that, it's time for the part that I'm a little bit worried about, repainting things. Because as you can see, this playfield's not particularly happy in several spots. Like here, we're missing some paint. Down here, we're missing some paint. Up here, there's a good bit missing. Here, a little bit here, a little bit up here. There's some paint missing in quite a few places. And we got some scuffs here as well. You know, a good number of places we got some missing paint. And so I'm going to go in and try and repaint that. And I've watched a lot of videos on the YouTube channel Joe's Classic Video Games to see how he does it. He makes it look pretty easy, but he always emphasizes that you can't really ever get it perfect. It's very tough to get it perfect. So I'm going to keep that in mind. Also, I'm not an artist in the slightest. I kind of suck at art, honestly. So it's probably not going to go super well, but I'm at least going to try it. And it's acrylic paint, which apparently, according to him, if you screw up, you can just basically just wipe it off. So that gives me some comfort. But I'll try doing that. And then regardless of whether I succeed or fail, once we have attempted our repainting, then I will spray the entire playfield with a clear coat to lock in the paint. Because, I mean, this paint is just ready to flake off in certain places. Like, it's just going to keep flaking off. Like, up here, if I push on that, I think it's just going to keep flaking. It's right on the verge of continuing to come off. So we'll spray a clear coat over the entire thing to lock all the old paint and the new paint, if I succeed in repainting anything, lock all that in. And then we will wax the entire thing. So just rub some wax all over it to make it nice and shiny, make that ball move around nice and smooth. And then once the wax is done, then we can start reassembling it. So that will involve putting all of our little features back in place. By the way, I will obviously clean all of these plastic pieces and all the posts and all those sorts of things before we put it back in, because some of them are quite dirty. Some of them are also cracked, so I might buy replacements for these later on. But I don't have any at the moment, so that'll be for later. But yeah, we'll start putting those back on. And then finally, once those are mostly installed, then we will install new rubbers for everything to get the ball bouncing around nice and vigorously again. And once the new rubbers are installed, I think we'll be just about done, and we can consider this project a total success. Oh, and one other thing we got to do is clear coat the back side of the back glass to seal in this paint and keep this paint from continuing to flake off. But I'm not sure when I'm going to get around to doing that. But yeah, we'll be focusing on the playfield here. So the first thing, let's just get all this stuff off of the playfield. That's what we're going to start with here. Okay, as you can see, I have stripped everything off the playfield, and I have brought it outside too, since that naphtha stuff can be kind of gross. And yeah, it looks very different with everything off of it. But yeah, now that everything has been removed and we're down to just the bare paint wherever possible, we can just start rubbing naphtha all over the whole thing and cleaning it up. So I'll come back when that's done and we'll see how it looks. Okay, so I'm back inside now, and shockingly, the naphtha really didn't do anything. I don't know why, because like everyone online was saying that's totally what you should use, but like it really didn't really do much other than help remove some paint, which obviously isn't what we're going for here. So yeah, that was a total resounding failure. I don't know what that was about. Total waste of time there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to you know, once again, watching Joe's classic video games, I'm going to go with what he does. Just do exactly what he does, which is take some Windex and take a magic eraser and go to town with that. Just spray some Windex all over the whole thing and scrub everything with a magic eraser, just being careful not to let the paint come off. And we'll see what that does. It can't be any worse than the naphtha, and it sure is a lot more pleasant to breathe in. So we'll see what that does. And yeah, I really hope we can clean this thing up. I'm just shocked the naphtha didn't get like this stuff off. Like, this looks like it should totally come off, but nope. Well, we'll see if the magic eraser can get it. Okay, so I haven't actually used the magic eraser yet. I've just gone over it with a combination of Windex and paper towels, and it already looks a decent bit better. Like, you can see this area here. Well, maybe you can't see on camera, I don't know. But this area here looks a lot better. This area, it's still got some gunk, but it looks a lot better. The whole thing looks a good bit better. Some paint is flaked off in the process, but not as much paint as I expected, honestly. And I mean, we're gonna have to do some touch-up work to it anyway, so I'm not super upset about that as long as it doesn't start coming off in absurd amounts. Like, I've looked at some before and after pictures, and the two major places where it seems to be coming off are like right here. That's black, so that's really easy to do. And then up here. Those are the only two like huge places where it's coming off. But yeah, so it looks a good bit cleaner, especially like underneath where we had all the plastic pieces. A lot of the dirt that was under there is gone now. So that makes it a lot more pleasant to work on now. And I think I'm gonna go for the magic eraser next and see what it's gonna do. If we don't have much luck with that, then I'm probably just gonna call it here and go ahead and start touching the paint up. But I really hope that magic eraser is gonna help us get rid of some of this really yucky looking stuff. But we're about to find out. Okay, so after a whole lot of work, I have finally finished the magic eraser and Windex portion of things. And boy, is that magic eraser pretty dang magic. It cleaned things up pretty significantly. Once again, I think this is one of those things you may or may not actually be able to see on camera. You probably can't, but trust me, it really cleaned things up. Like these yellow areas right here, for instance, they had all these like little squiggly lines in them that I'm guessing were caused by like the ball just rolling around there for years and years. I don't know, but those lines are completely gone now that I've gone over it with the magic eraser. And a lot of the gunk, like the trail that went between here and here, there was like a brown trail between these two where the ball would always go. That's not there anymore. You can still see a little scratch, but there's no trail there anymore. The trail from here to here is also pretty much gone. The green cleaned up really well up here. A lot of things, pretty much everything cleaned up quite well. It looks a whole lot better now, a whole lot better. This area down here that you can't see when the apron is on, it also cleaned up really, really well. I just wanted to get this clean so that the ball return area is nice and clean. And then I cleaned the ball shooter thing over here too, and everything cleaned up pretty nicely. You can probably see though that some paint did end up coming off while I was cleaning. And so it's a little more stripped back than it was before, but it's not as bad as I was expecting, honestly. I was kind of expecting more to come off than what actually came off. It's probably the worst, like around here. Like you can see things came off pretty significantly there. This black got messed up kind of bad. The black was pretty much perfect before. The area around these lights was pretty close to perfect before, and now it's messed up. This got worse. This definitely got worse as well. These don't matter because these are covered up by the pop bumpers all the time. And this up here certainly got worse as well. Although you have to remember these horrendous spots right here are actually normally covered by posts. So those aren't actually going to be visible. But yeah, so paint definitely came off, but kind of was expecting that. And I think it looks a whole lot better now on the whole. So now we just got to paint things. We got to repaint all the detail that came off. And this is where things are going to be a challenge because I am not artistically inclined in the slightest. I can't do art, and yeah, this is going to be very interesting. But I've watched some Joe's classic video games videos, and I've seen him do it. So I'm hoping I can channel his skill and come up with something that's at least passable in the end. So I ended up buying some of the stuff he recommended on Amazon. So I bought some paint brushes here. I don't think he recommended these. I think I just bought some paint brushes. But yeah, we got some paint brushes for like acrylic paint. Then I bought these little pins. These are black pins. These are used for like detailing the black stuff, so you can get like really, really fine control over all that. So basically you can do a sloppy job of the other colors. So like I could do a sloppy job with the red and kind of have it go all over this line here. And then I can just come back on top of that and draw the black line with the pin nice and defined, right? So that's what the pins are for. And then I got a box here with a bunch of paint in it. And this is all acrylic paint because according to him, if you use acrylic paint, if you screw up, you can just wipe it away with water, which is pretty cool. I didn't know that. And I hope he's telling the truth about that. I don't see why he would lie, but I hope it's as good as he says it is, because something tells me I'm gonna mess up. But yeah, I got a lot of acrylic paint, and it's just a matter at this point of matching the colors and potentially mixing colors as well. So like, I just pulled out a red. I hope there's more than, yeah, we got quite a selection. I'm just gonna pull out a red, a yellow, some greenish colors, blue, green, you know. Now it's gray. Just find all the colors that we could possibly need. There's a little bit of pink, so I'll grab some pink. And yeah, I don't think we're gonna need that color. Oh, some more pink. There's no orange, I don't think. Or purple. Is there purple? No, I don't see any purple. And then we need, I don't think there's any white either. No. Blue. Shockingly, there's no blue. More blue. Nope. Green. Oh, that looks like a pretty close match, actually. Magenta. And it's sort of reddish, so we'll keep it. And then black. We're not going to need black. Okay, so these are probably the paints that we're going to be working with and mixing. We might mix in some white and black, too. Maybe I'll grab the white and the black so that we'll have stuff to mix them with to make different shades. But yeah, so this is what we'll be working with. That yellow honestly looks like a pretty good match just right off the bat. So that's nice. The green, has the container been leaking a little bit? I don't know. But the green, that's not quite a perfect match, but it's better than I expected, actually. The red, not quite a perfect match, but I guess we won't really know for sure until we get it on there. So maybe let's start. Red is probably the most screwed up color on this playfield. That's the one that it's going to be the most important to get fixed because there's a lot of messed up red on here. So I guess let's just start with red and see what we can do, see how this works. And the smart place to start is right here, because these are where the pop bumpers are going to go. So if I screw anything up under here, especially closer to the inside of these, it's really not going to matter because the pop bumper will just cover it up. So I'm going to start experimenting right in here and we'll see what ends up happening. Wish me luck, because I'm honestly pretty dang scared for this. Okay, I just got into the painting of everything, and this is going to probably make the video a little bit too long, so I think I'm going to just end this video here, and then we'll pick up all the painting related stuff in part 5. But yeah, it's interesting. I just started with it, and the progress I've been making is pretty interesting, as you will see in that video. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Remember to like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Feel free to leave a comment if you have any experience with these things, any comments, criticism, anything like that. And I'll see you in the next one in part 5, hopefully in no more than a few days.